but let's do this anyway. I'm so nervous. Like, I'm so nervous. I get in my head. Okay, so I have like horrible anxiety and depression, and when this type of stuff happens, I get super nervous because I don't want to be telling you guys a whole bunch of stuff you might already know. But all right, so my topic tonight is fundraising. Now, so this is the way I started out. I'm like, what if I told you that you could grow your customer base by anywhere from 15 to 50 new customers? Like what? Well, or by doing one thing, you could have more reorders than you can handle in the next few months. Or would you be interested in having more products on your shelves for reselling, for gifts, or for whatever you want for free? Okay, this is all possible by doing fundraisers, right? You can take your business from good to great in a very short amount of time by reaching out there and by getting those fundraisers, because you can reach so many more people in a short amount of time. It's crazy. If you want to earn Mexico, like I'm sure everybody, if you're in Lighthouse, like that's your goal. You want to go to Mexico, especially after seeing the Moon Palace. Like I was stupid. I missed out on Moon Palace, but looking at Moon Palace, I sent it to my husband and I'm like, we're going here, right? And the easiest way to do this is by doing a fundraiser, right? So backstory for me, I joined back in 2015 or 2012, and it was December. I did my first fundraiser when I think it was that March. So I had no idea what the hell I was doing. There was a girl on my team, like laterally, that did a bunch of fundraisers. So I messaged her and said, there's this baby. He was not even a year old. And if you just came on, could you please mute yourself? That'd be fantastic. Thank you. So there was this baby named Trayden, and he was like the cutest little boy. At about 3 or 4 months old, they realized he had cancer all in his brain, like horrible everywhere. They were doing everything to combat it. And that just broke my heart because I had a son who was the same age. And I was like, oh my God, where would I be if this had happened to me? Like I would be beside myself. These parents need so much help. So with my new business, I had no idea what I was doing, and I did not have the money to really be giving money away at this point. But I thought, hey, I can do a Scentsy fundraiser. I can help these people out. And as a new consultant, I can be expanding my business super fast, super quick. So I decided, hey, I contacted the mom. I said, you don't have to do anything. I will do this all on my own. I just wanted to know that if it's okay that I tell people that I'm raising the money for you. I don't want to use your name if it's not okay. Mom was fine with it. I, in a month, was able to raise $1,000 for them. And to me, that was huge. I mean, because that is not something that I would be able to give out of my own pocket. And having a child, knowing that, even if $1,000 was a drop in the bucket compared to their medical bills, that's $1,000 they did not have. And what it did is it really spoke to me. So I was able to completely bless them with money that I would never have been able to do myself. And that's the power of these fundraisers, is being able to help someone, but it's also helping you. Like, you don't want to be selfish about it, but it is kind of like selfishly awesome, right? I went from having a business that, after your first 3 months, you're scrambling for new people. You're scrambling to try to find new parties and new hostesses and new recruits. And, you hit that every 3 months or every 6 months, you hit that wall that you have to push through. So here I was with a whole new host of people that I could start sharing my business to. And it got my name out there as someone who cares and someone who wanted to help other people and not just herself, by saying that I was giving away my commission to help this family. So if that would have been an incentive period, that would have been amazing. I probably would have earned a trip, but that's beside the point. So what kind of different fundraisers, because I'm so nervous, just bear with me. What kind of different, I'm like looking at my notes. All right, what kind of fundraisers can you look out for to start looking, to expand your business? first off, finding things that you are passionate about. If you're passionate about pets, hit up all the animal shelters you can. If you're passionate about Relay for Life will awesome. They will help, they will hook you up. I'm actually talking to someone right now about doing a Relay for Life fundraiser. You can do prom dress fundraisers if there's a local girl who can't afford a prom dress, or if you want to raise money to give to, you know, a children's shelter that, you know, the girls need prom dresses. If there's dance lessons, you can raise money for daycares. If there's a family that wants to go on vacation or a family that needs help with bills, I mean, the sky is the limit. It's not just for schools and teams. I mean, you can pretty much fundraise for anything nowadays. All right. So what you want to do is you want to write down a few things, and that's going to be your call to action for the, you know, for tomorrow. If you want to post tomorrow, you don't have to do it now. I want you to think about it, pray about it, whatever you do. Think of like 5 different things that speak to your heart that you would love to do fundraising for, right? So what inspires you to want to give ultimately? Because the more you care about an event, the more they're going to realize and they're going to feel your passion. You're not going to feel salesy. You're going to feel, they're going to feel like you actually want to help them and that you're not doing this for you. You're doing this for them, right? Okay. Couple other things. I got my notes. I'm sorry. All right. The best way to get a fundraiser is to open your mouth and to ask for one. If you have the heart to help, you don't have to worry about your words, right? They're going to be able to feel your passion, like I said before. They're going to be able to, I guess that's the best way to put it. I'm like getting in my head. I'm sorry. Okay. If you see someone on social media who needs help, just reach out to them privately, like I did with that mom. Say, you know, explain why you want to help, explain why their cause has touched your heart, and ask if you can. Say it how you would want to hear it. You know, if you don't feel like you might have the right wording, go ahead and Google some, you know, fundraising letters and fundraising speeches, and tweak it though, so it doesn't seem salesy, it doesn't seem pitchy. It's coming from you, but sometimes, you know, you have a hard time coming up with the words, like I'm doing tonight. You have a hard time coming up with the words. And so by, you know, researching a little bit or asking someone, asking your sponsor, say, hey, I really want to ask this person if I can do a fundraiser for them. Will you just like look over my letter and see what you think? And make sure that it's not about me, make sure it's about you, you know, we'd be happy to help you out, not a problem. What you want to do too is you want to include in the letter, or what I like to include in my letters is if you go on the workstation, there is an actual fundraising letter from Heidi and Orville. And I like to put that in there too, because no one puts it better than them, right? And they just have this way of making everyone feel super special and important and just showing how much this company really does care. And it's not always about sales for them. So I like putting that letter in my packets because that just shows that it's not just me, but Scentsy as a whole is a company that cares and loves to help people. And, you know, that might speak to the fundraiser coordinator too. And who knows, she could be your next recruit. He could be your next recruit because they see how much Scentsy likes to help. And if they see how successful the fundraiser is, they might say, hey, I can do this every 3 months, every 6 months, and, you know, raise money for my cause. And boom, there you go. I made my quota for, you know, the next couple months by doing Scentsy fundraisers. Also, when you approach someone about your fundraiser, whether or not you're going in person or if you're messaging them on social media, I'm sorry. If you, I put my phone on silent. Whether or not you go in person or if you message them on social media, whether you send them an email, however you do it, you want to make sure that you look and sound professional. Now, I don't mean you have to go in there with a suit on. You don't have to go in there, you know, looking, you know, stellar. But go in there with a Scentsy shirt on, looking clean, your hair is done, you actually have makeup on, like I do today. I rarely wear makeup. But making sure that you're confident and you show them how much you care and how much you think that you can help their organization, right? You want to make sure that you're smiling and you want to make sure that you're approachable and that you think, like, by looking at you, they think, damn, this is going to be an amazing fundraiser. She is going to just help us out. We are going to get all the money we need for X, Y, and Z. Yes, let's do a fundraiser. And you can do that too by doing it over social media or an email. Make sure that your letter is well written, no spelling errors. So again, that's another great reason to have someone proofread your letters before you send them out too. But if you have a good, fundraising letter that you've Googled or that you've written up yourself, you can certainly use that for multiple occasions and just, pick and choose some different words by saying, if it's like, I know one of you said you did a pit bull shelter fundraiser or have a pit bull shelter, make it towards an animal shelter. But then let's say you want to do another fundraiser for your, niece's gymnastics team. You just pick and choose a little bit of different letters. You can use the same core format, but by switching it up, that way you're making it personal to that organization. Let's see, make sure. When I make up my packets, so I usually have a large envelope that I put the packets in, and I like to keep it super, you'll hear this from anybody, I'm sure. You want to keep it super cheap, but you also want to keep it functional and you want to keep it informative. So what I like to use is I love the showcase brochures because you can get so many more of them for a lot cheaper. You can, they have large pictures of everything. It fits in a nice big envelope, and here's the best part. And I won't go a whole lot into like how to put in a fundraiser, but the best part about it is there's no combine and saves in here, which will raise more money for your fundraiser in the long run, right? So by doing it this way, they buy everything, full priced. That's going to get more money for your organization. But then when you're entering stuff, you can combine and save it and use that to get more free products for yourself to either give away as gifts for, whoever raises the most money, which I'll talk about in a minute, or for your own stock to have later on, like I talked about in the beginning, for, vendor shows, that type of thing. So I absolutely love the showcase brochures, and I didn't notice that this year they have a lot more pages. Usually it was just like you opened it up, that was it, and close the back, that was it. I love that they've made everything a little bit bigger and really showcased everything we have. So I love the showcase brochures. I will put a sample of something in there. I like to usually take old testers and I'll put one or two, usually of like a clean scent and a fruity scent or a man scent in there. So that way they can have a little bit of a taste of what we're doing. And as I was researching this, I found this genius idea from Laura Godwin, who's amazing. Love her, love her, love her. And she had, and I don't have a big one, so this isn't like perfect rendition, but she had these clipboards. And they were bigger, they were a full-size clipboard, and she would Gorilla Glue 2 testers on each side. So that way she would give each person who was doing the fundraiser one of these clipboards. She would have a clean scent, a man scent, a fruity scent, and then like a baked good scent. So they had 4 scents that they could, they're glued on here, but you could just pull the cap off and sniff. Then on the forms, she would have the showcase brochures, order forms, everything they needed. And then on the back, she had all the tax information and shipping information if that was applicable. I thought that was genius. I'm like, oh, that is such a good idea. So something to think about if you're okay. It scared me. It got really loud there for a second. So that's what I will put in with my brochures, depending on the type of fundraiser, how many people there are. We do in the Sensi Family Store have fundraiser packets where they can write on there who ordered what and what they want. I like to do order forms and, oh shoot, I didn't do that one. So what, on the order forms, we all know what the order forms look like. On the top where it said date, I didn't put the date down. What I did was I put the organization, and then depending on whether or not the event coordinator wanted it shipped to them, if they were local or not, I would cross out shipping, and then I would also write whatever the tax was right in the tax thing. So it was just worry-proof. I like every order form, I wrote it in there and just gave them a ton of order forms. So there wasn't a whole lot of guesswork. That way it was just simple, easy, handing everything to them. Yeah, so that's what I like to put in with my packets. And I keep it as stupid simple as possible, especially if there's going to be a lot of kids involved, or I mean, just people involved in general, because you don't want them losing a lot and you don't want to make it seem super complicated. Easy as possible. Okay. Any questions so far? Chelsea.
Okay, so when you are putting your packet together, do you put any information about you in there to kind of turn it into somewhat of a recruiting topic in your fundraiser? That way people who see that you are helping and the benefits of a fundraiser, and if they want to get involved, could they contact you and see your information and see everything that you've done? And that way that they can call you and kind of turn it into a recruiting, or if they want to come to you for another fundraiser or anything like that, do you have like a little, what do they call it, a little pamphlet?
I don't have a pamphlet. I'm actually working on pamphlets because I saw someone who did a fantastic pamphlet and I've always wanted to do them. I do have a postcard that has on the front a picture of me, and then it says Molly's Scentsy Story. And it says my Scentsy story. On the back, when you flip it over, it has 10 reasons to join Scentsy. And then it has the places I've traveled with Scentsy. And then it says, like, to join my team, contact this.
Okay.
So I do put those in each one of my packets too. Okay. Sorry. Thank you for asking that though, because
no, I just thought it was
I'm on job.
And I thought you mentioned it like prior, like way before Lighthouse, that you had done something like that. And I know a lot of people can kind of flip that and turn that into a recruiting conversation as well as a fundraiser.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. So definitely something to think about by making your own flyers or making your own pamphlets. And there's so many different things. Sammy, you're right over there. I saw her. She drank something. She's like, I'm just dying over here. Okay. So I see Lindsay asked a question. Do I only do full catalog fundraisers? I do, because that's what my customers like. The people that have done fundraisers with me, that's what they've chosen. They want to have the full catalog for anyone to choose from. There are plenty of different fundraisers you can do. You can do Scent Circle fundraisers. You can do Buddy Clip fundraisers. You can do just bars, buy a 6-pack of bars, that type of thing. It really comes down to what your organization wants to do. You sit and you say, okay, well, we can do it this way, this way, this way. Most of them will realize that they can make the most money if they do it this way, because there's people who are going to want, warmers. There's people who are going to want something different. And if you open up the catalog to them, that is a lot more appealing than just having scent circles. So that's what I've found. It's always completely up to your discretion. If you think it's going to be too much work for you to do a full one, just do a scent circle. That's all you have to offer. Just do buddy clips if you want to do it for a kid's, for a school or an organization. That's all you have to do. You can keep it as simple or as complicated as you like. Just from my personal experience, everyone has wanted to do the full catalog because they love all of our products. So, okay, on to my next little thing here. Now, when I run my fundraisers, I give my full commission, except for like if it goes over 5%, over 2,000, the 5%. I will usually keep that just for, doing, the supplies that I needed and reimbursing all of that. If you want to give more than that, if it gets over, 2,000 and you want to give that extra 5%, it is completely up to you. If you only want to give 15%, if you want to give the full 25. The reason I give the full 25 is because it's more competitive with the other fundraisers that are out there. You have to know your competition. There's people out there selling Yankee candles. There's people out there selling pizzas. There's people out there selling wrapping paper. What are you doing that's going to entice them, besides our products, to want to host a fundraiser with you? And that's why I find by giving the most, you get the most back. So I like giving the full 25%. Anyone, can do it a different way. But the nicest part about this is at the end of the year too, it's a tax write-off. It's completely tax write-off. You can write it off as that you gave to charity, and that's only going to help you. So that's why I choose to do the full 25%. And when you think about it, all the customers that you're going to get from this, it's going to more than pay off. It's going to pay off completely, because if you do it right and if it's successful, you are going to have that 15 to 50, depending on how many people. If you're following up with them like you should be, you're going to have customers for life that are going to pay off in the long run. Because yes, like we've heard, some people are only buying once a year. Well, that could be because people aren't following up with them. So you are getting this core group of customers that you didn't have before. Don't waste that opportunity, right? You got to get on them. So by giving that 25%, you're getting all these new customers. It'll pay off in the long run. That's my opinion. Plus, you're getting all the host rewards. So when you do a fundraiser and you're bundling up everything, you're getting all the host rewards, and you can sell them off later by doing events like Cassie did today, or like Marie does. If you're doing events or you're giving as gifts, these are all extra income that you do not have, that is not going to show up on your 1099. Woohoo! We're all thinking about tax time right now. It's like, what? Money I don't have to claim? Yes, please. Thank you. So it's always good in the long run. By giving your complete commission away, think of it as building your business long term. And that amazing feeling that you get from blessing someone else as much as you can is going to be it's going to pay for itself. Now, when it comes to logistics, there's always the things you have to think about. You have to think about, for the event coordinator, do you want them to deliver everything? Do they want to have a pickup day for customers and, set up a time like this Saturday from 9 to 3, pick up your stuff. If you don't pick it up, it all goes to the event coordinator. Or do they want it all shipped to them depending on how far away they live? So yeah, you just want to kind of, these are all things that once you book a fundraiser, you want to nail down with your coordinator. If you have questions, hit me up. Okay. And again, too, I talked about the testers. Sometimes they may not want all this. They might just want order forms and catalogs. You really just have to talk to them, find out how many people are selling, and get a feel for things so that way you can, again, make it as easy as possible for them. Clipboard tester. Looking all over my notes, making sure I'm not forgetting anything. All right. What I like to do, too, and this is, I love social media nowadays. You can make a Facebook event as long as it's okay with the event coordinator or the family or whoever you're fundraising for. You can make a Facebook event along with your fundraiser if they so choose. And then you can promote it like crazy on your own. So let's say you are doing a fundraiser for someone and they're not really pulling their weight, but you've got all these customers, and if you've picked something that's close to your heart, your family and your friends and your Facebook contacts are all going to know that that's close to you. And they probably are going to feel the same way, because if they're friends with you, like, all my friends, we all love animals. So if I'm doing a fundraiser for an animal shelter, my friends are going to buy from that because they have the same cares. They have the same feelings. They want to do that. So if you promote it like crazy, A, you're going to get outside orders, but also B, you're planting the seed for other people to come to you when they need a fundraiser. They're gonna be like, okay, yeah, I need to start fundraising for my daughter's hockey lessons, or I'm from the North, okay, for their hockey stuff, because hockey's expensive, if anybody knows, like, damn. And so they're like, oh, I need new skates, or I need new, my kid's growing like a weed, I need new hockey pads, and I want to fundraise for that. Oh, Molly does fundraisers. I could get my Scentsy products, and I could, say my son Gus. I can get Gus's hockey stuff, and I can go through Molly because she'll be able to get me the money for it. So by doing these Facebook fundraisers, you're also planting the seed for future fundraisers, which is huge. If you're, sorry, lost my train of thought. So yeah, planting seeds. Now this is where my notes get crazy, sir. Anybody have any questions before I move on to something else? Okay, Chelsea goes again. I love it.
It's not really a question. It's more of something I just found out about fundraisers, where you have to have a written document between you and the event coordinator, or you and, say you're doing a buddy drive for a hospital, a written document explaining everything that you're going to be donating. This mainly goes for a lot of donations like the buddy fundraiser and all that stuff for hospitals. You have to have a written document of what you're donating, who you're donating it to, and how you're going to be presenting it on social media, like the Facebook event and all that stuff. And it has to be signed between you and the coordinator or the hospital. That way, if since he questions it, to make sure that it's legit, you have proof that you have talked to the coordinator or the hospital or whoever, and that you have both signatures and everyone is okay and on board. Because there have been events with Scentsy and a lot of direct sales companies where they host fundraisers but don't actually give the products. They collect the money and take it and roll. So just make sure you guys have all of your steps, all your stuff covered just in case. None of you guys, I'm sure, are people who are going to just take the money and go. But just save yourself and the event coordinator the headache if something happens.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's really good to know. Thank you, Chelsea. I did not know that. So good to know.
I found out when Lindsay made me think of it when they were doing their buddy drive for the hospital. I found out from emailing Lori, my concierge, and asking like what steps they need to take. And she's like, well, they need this and this and this. And I'm like, I've been with this company for 5 years. I never knew any of that. So now that I know, I can pass it on to you guys.
Yeah, all right. I didn't know it was that involved.
Wow.
It's very, and it just helps the hospital. It's makes them feel more comfortable that you have a legit document stating this is what you're going to do. This is who you're going to be donating to. And also the families, because people come in all the time wanting to donate stuff and they don't know where the stuff's coming from. So it also helps puts everything at ease with the family too, knowing that it's coming from a legitimate person who cares and who isn't just some creep off the road.
Yeah, absolutely. Holy buckets. Yeah, good to know. Thank you so much, Chelsea. Murray, what were you going to say?
Sorry. This last winter I did a buddy drive as well for Toys for Tots, and we emailed back and forth, and I just printed it out and had him sign it when I did the delivery, because it's a small area. Well, it's a huge area. One guy was running the whole thing, and it was really hard to kind of pin him down at the beginning. So when I went and delivered, I just had him sign that I had delivered it and everything was cool. And he was super excited to have it. But there are workarounds for some things, but you want to make sure you're covering all the steps the best you can, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cover your ass. Absolutely. Because you don't want Scentsy to come back later and be like, well, where'd you get this? Especially during an incentive period. You don't want them to come back and question it and be like, oh, you just took all this money. No, I didn't. I swear.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think someone asked if emails work. I think there's a way that you can do like signatures over email too. I'm not 100% sure on how you would go about that, but I want to say there's a way that you can do it. So if anybody knows a way you can do it, if you want to write that on the side, that'd be fantastic. A couple other questions. I make the Facebook event public because you want to reach as many people as possible. What else? How much background about Scentsy should we include in the packets for those who know nothing about Scentsy? I guess I've only ever just put in a catalog, put in the showcase brochure. I mean, for the most part, most people know about Scentsy, but if you wanted to on your fundraising letter, you could put a blurb about the Scentsy story or put a little blurb about what type of company we are. Say, we're a fragrance company, yada, 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 the whole thing. I can't make it up right now, but that'd be something that you could absolutely put in your fundraising letter. I can put up a couple sample letters, Shelly. Sorry, I'm looking over at Shelly like she can see me. And yes, Allison, it does make sense it makes us look more professional to have a sign in, sign out thing. So I actually love that idea. I'm glad you brought that up, Chelsea, because that's really cover our butts and it makes them feel more secure that they don't think we're going to take off with their money. So perfect. Anybody else? Questions?
I'm going to double check on the emails. I've commented on there, but for people who can't see it, I'm going to double check on the emails, but I'm pretty sure that it's good because most legit companies have their signature at the bottom. That should suffice as a signature, but I'm going to email Lori as soon as I get off here, and hopefully she'll let me back tomorrow morning. So I'll let you guys know.
Perfect. Sounds good. Yeah, and to keep your email chain, oh, that's great, Lindsay. Thanks for putting that up. Keeping emails from back and forth. I have a whole, like, in my emails, I have a just Scentsy section. And like, whenever I get like my MyLIQ receipts for the year, I just throw everything in there. So then by the end of the year, I can pull everything up. So that way too, you can pull up that correspondence so they can't say, oh, I never talked to her. Well, no, I saved everything. There you go. Okay. And then down to just a few other things. And then I'm going to keep it short and sweet. For different prizes that I like to offer. So at the end of the fundraiser, if I'm doing, like, this was a great idea I read about, if you're doing an event for a school, that's not going to cost you too much money. Like, say, okay, well, whichever classroom sells the most, let's do an ice cream party. So that way you spend, $20-$40 on ice cream, spoons, and bowls. And the kids are like, oh my gosh, we're getting an ice cream party at school. And they get so excited. So they want to be the class that sells the most. Because my kids, they have this accelerating reading program. And if everybody gets their reading in, they get a pizza party at the end of the year and or at the end of the month. And that pizza party is like gold, So, I mean, you could do pizza parties and get Little Caesar pizza. Kids do not care, right? If you're doing something for Relay for Life, and this is a great way to promote your business to other businesses too, is offering, so let's say there's 15 women selling. Say whoever sells the most, I'm going to give you a certificate for a free mani-pedi, right? Who doesn't need a mani-pedi, right? So what you do is you go to different businesses and you say, hey, I'm doing a fundraiser for Relay for Life, and I would love to be able to offer the person who sells the most a certificate for, getting mani-pedi done. Would you be willing to donate one? So that way, A, you're going in there, you're promoting Scentsy, and B, you're asking them for a donation for this as well. So that way it's not coming out of your pocket and it's making them look good because they're the ones that are like, hey, yeah, I'll help donate for Relay for Life. And plus that's putting that salon out there saying, oh, dang, this salon is someone who's going to donate to Relay for Life. I'm definitely going there the next time I need my nails done. Okay. This is a salon that actually cares about the community and wants to help people out. Then also you can offer product, right? So, the kids, like the top 3 kids or the top 5 kids that sell, the most, instead of doing a, ice cream party, you can tell them to pick out a buddy, right? Because if the fundraiser does as well as you're hoping it will, you can use that free. You're not going to pay anything for that, right? You're going to be putting everything together so that way you can get those buddies absolutely free. They just pick out, like, you have them write down, okay, if you're, you count however many and you call that kid up and you say, hey, you want a buddy? Go to this website, look at which buddies there are, tell me which one you want and what scent you want in it. And they're going to be like, oh, I want a buddy. Or, if it's older gymnasts, like last year I did a gymnastics one and I said, okay, the top 3 girls get to pick out a mini warmer. And they were like, what? I get to pick out my own warmer? And they all loved the morning sunrise one. So that was the one like everybody wanted. Like, I love it. So there's different ways that you can offer product, offer certificates, offer prizes without breaking your bank and having to pull out of your own paycheck. There's different ways to make it super easy, super simple, but still get a lot of interest in helping out their cause. And then, a couple other things, by at the end of the fundraiser, I usually let my fundraisers run 10 to 14 days. You don't want it to run too long because then, you know how it goes with parties. Oh, can I just keep it 2 more days? Oh, can I just keep it this? No, this is when it is done, because otherwise people are going to be waiting forever for their product. And we all know how well that goes over, right? No. And when you do let them know, so let's say you're letting it run 14 days, then you say, okay, in another 2 weeks, I usually will say 3 weeks just to be safe, you will get your product. That way, that gives you time to, like, when people are calling me and saying, oh, when's my order going to be in? I tell them 2 days after. I'm like, okay, your order, if it's set to come on Tuesday, I'm like, oh, your order is coming in Wednesday. So that way I know that I have time to separate everything out, put everything together. You want to give it a little extra time, A, for any holdups, and B, to give yourself some grace by putting all that crap together, right? So you want to make sure you're giving yourself some space. But by putting that date on the order forms too, you're letting people know, don't call me. Don't be calling me every 15 minutes. Where's my order? Where's my order? Where's my order? And that's another reason why I like to do dates where everybody comes to pick up their product between 9 and 3 on a Saturday. So that way there's no guesswork. There's no, where's my stuff? There's just, this is the day. Come and get it. Woohoo. Like Girl Scout cookies. Hey, all the Girl Scout cookies are in. Come and pick up your orders. And then you guys, deliver them. So yeah. And last but not least, thank yous. Thank yous are super important and super easy. Print a bunch on Vistaprint. Done. And you can just sign them each if you want to. If you want to write out a handwritten, thank you, depending on the size of the orders and fundraiser that you got, you might, cramp your hand up and get carpal tunnel. But if you print out a bunch of thank yous on Vistaprint or some of the great new thank yous that are in the Scentsy Family store, if you go, I don't know if I have to check if they're actually in the Scentsy Family store, if they're accessed through Vistaprint, but Scentsy has designed thank yous for us to use that are gorgeous. All you have to do is sign them, set to go, have them printed from Vistaprint, and just drop one in everybody's bag. Boom, 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 done. But you want to make sure you're thanking people. A, because they took their time out to spend their money to help your cause, and B, they could be your next fundraiser, next recruit, next party host, who knows. So you want to show that you're someone who cares. So I think that's it. If anybody, don't forget to order bags now too. With your fundraiser, unless you're like me, who's been with this 5 years and I've got a mountain of bags in my basement that I don't need to worry for a while. But yes, order bags. Make sure you have enough stuff ahead of time before you start your fundraiser. Make sure you're setting a date with your coordinator so that way you have time to get all the supplies you need. You don't want to run out. You want to have excess. So that's about it for my rambling. Any other questions? Please shout them out. I'm going to take a drink. Or message them or anything else that I didn't cover. Amanda, you made it! Thanks! Yay! Let's see. Do you ever let the people ordering know how much was donated to the cause? Yes, that's another great thing that I've done in the past. Was I will make a Facebook post in that Facebook event saying, hey, I was able to donate $600 towards the gymnastics team, or I was able to donate $1,000 towards trade-in, or whatever the case may be. Just to know how much you were able to help that organization, because people care about that too. So that's a great question. Thank you. Cassie, were you going to say something? No, I just saw that you unmuted yourself, so I was just like, meh. Could you write it on the back of the thank you? Would you know that? Oh yeah, you would know by then. You would know, because once you place that order, you're going to know exactly how much you made off that party, percentage-wise, and how much you made and how much you're going to give off that party. So yeah, absolutely, you could write it on the back of the thank yous. People would really appreciate saying, hey, because of your help, we were able to donate this much towards, Relay for Life or whatever the case may be. That's a great idea. You could leave a little room for that. Chelsea, I love how you raise your hand like, Miss Molly, please call on me.
So would you, in your experience with fundraisers, would you share how much you donated to this cause on social media to kind of attract other people that have been seeing you post about the fundraiser and everything? What would your take be on sharing it that way instead of just the people who helped?
I would. I did that last year when I haven't had a fundraiser in a year because I've been stupid. I had one booked for February or for last December, and unfortunately the homeless shelter that I was going to donate money to went under. So they had to send all these people out into the cold, Wisconsin cold in the middle of the winter. And I just wish that they would have contacted me earlier. She was just having such a hard time. Long story short. But yes, by saying, by showing that the thing is you don't want to be too braggy about it. You don't want to be like, I'm a good person. Look at me. Pat me on the back. Look at how amazing I am. But you also want to show that you are helping people and that that Scentsy is something that can bless people as opposed to just being like a money-making, like everyone says, money-making scheme or, whatever, you just want to make sure that you're not being too braggadocious, if that makes sense. Is that a real word? I don't know. I love that word though. It's fun to say, but you want to make sure that you're not being disingenuine with it. You want to make sure that if you're going to do that, say, yes, this is how much I made, but make sure that it's, tactful. Right. So
And because of my Scentsy business, we were able to raise $500 for this animal shelter to help them pay for this and this and this, or something like that. That way, it doesn't really involve you. It just says my Scentsy business.
mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the thing, but then it all focuses on the shelter and what you're helping them get and the stuff they were able to buy and all that stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. By saying your Scentsy business and not like, oh, look at me, I did this. You know, because of my Scentsy business, we were able to raise this much, you know, so it wasn't just you, because it wasn't, you know, people were helping you along the way. So yeah, no, that's a great point. Thank you, Chelsea. Love that. GoFundMe pages hurt fundraisers if you try and help. I don't like GoFundMe. I don't like that they take money away. I don't like that I don't know what the percentage is that they do take, but I don't ever like donating to GoFundMe. If anything, I will PayPal, I will send a check right to that person before I will put on GoFundMe. I don't like it. Yeah. Like Lindsay said, they take a percentage of what you earn or you know, what the organization earns. And I don't care for that. So if anyone was like, oh, are you going to set up a GoFundMe page? No, because I don't want to lose more money for this organization. So no, I'm going to hand them a check out of my own account, and it's going to clear, and it's going to give them 600, however much, you know, even if it's $200, that's $200 they didn't have beforehand, you know? So don't look at it as a failure if you only raise $200 for them. Just say, hey, this was a new fundraiser. We tried something new. Next time we're going to get this down. Let's try it again with a new catalog, or let's try it in a couple months once these people have gotten a chance to really like their product, and tell people about tell their friends about the product. Tripping over my tongue here. And let's try again in a couple months. We'll have our attack plan down, and boom, who knows how much you can make then. So don't look at it as a failure if you only made a certain amount. Just look, okay, this was a learning experience. I know what works. I know what doesn't work now. I'm going to try something different and move on. Because if you only try one and then just give up, that's a mistake. Huge. So, yeah.
So I may have missed some because for some reason I didn't keep my kids asleep. Am I creating? That's not me. Hold on. But I've done several of the online ones. So I don't know if you talked about just in general online ones. And mine are always relatively like small. Like I give back usually $150 to $400. I guess that's not too small, but that's what saved me in December. I'll be like, in that slower month, December was a slower month in my business, and just having random orders coming on my PWS because of that really helped my business. And then it was so awesome to get back. And she was so excited about $150 back to her, and that she's already doing another one for the new catalog because the event I'm doing it for is in the fall. So don't discredit the small ones because it can bring really good customers. I don't know if you said all this, sorry, because I had to walk away. But, you know, I've never done a big one. I would love to do one. I'm not ballsy enough to ask yet. So I would love to do a bigger one, but great tips, Molly.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have any other questions? Yeah, and online ones can be successful too. And again, it all comes, and you guys know this, it all comes down to hostess. It all comes down to event coordinator. It all comes down to the type of help that you have too. I mean, you can work it as much as you can yourself, but you know, you're gonna need that extra help. And if they really want the money, they're gonna want to help you too. So yeah, if they want it to be successful. So just by hostess coaching, which we'll touch on in a couple weeks here with me. So, all right. Oh, go ahead.
Molly, do you think it's cutting into that's where we get too much? So now do as far as kids.
I'm sorry, you're cutting out.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah.
The one I was going to do is for church camp. And I thought maybe they would push harder if each kid had the option to get something. So my thought was a kid that says to use a buddy clip, and if they sell 100 or more, they can do a buddy or a knee warmer or a go. Because one of the moms was like, yes, I'm all over that. Kid is fixing it. So do you think that's cutting into like what you're going to get back from your host boards much, or I haven't really put it to.
It all depends on A, how big the fundraiser does, and B, if you're willing to be okay with like not getting a whole lot of product back, which I mean, you know, if you don't do a lot of vendor shows or if you're okay with that, go for it, you know? I mean, you could do, you know, if they sell like 100, 150 bucks, yeah, they get a buddy clip because, you know, that's going to be $15 of product credit right there. So by doing that, yeah, I mean, you can absolutely put that towards, you know, when you start bundling stuff up. The reason I like doing warmers, like offering mini warmers, is because you can do that with, you know, 2 mini warmers in a bar and put that as a bundle and bundle everything together and get more stuff in the end. But I mean, kids go ape crazy for buddy clips. So if that's something that you think is going to help you do sales, go for it. I mean, my kids love the buddy clips. So yeah, you know, if you're doing a fundraiser for a group with a lot of kids, that might definitely be something that would get them, you know, selling more, and say, hey, you know, if you sell 150 for, you know, 150, you get a buddy clip, but if you sell, you know, 253, you get a buddy, you know, a big buddy, then they might be like, well, I want the bigger one. I want something that I can go to sleep with instead of, you know, something that just goes on my backpack or is, you know, mini, you know. But yeah, that's a great idea. I love it. Oh, excuse me. I can't get tired. I'm going to be up till 11 watching the Oscars, all right? None of this crap. All right, anybody else? Any other questions, concerns, anything you'd like to add that maybe I missed out on? Shout it out. Well, thanks for putting up with my craziness. I'm like, seriously, I was messaging. I texted Chelsea before this. I'm like, oh my God, pray for me. I just get so nervous and I ramble and I just don't want it to be too all over the place. So thanks for putting up with me tonight, guys. All right. Anything else you want to add, Cassie, before we close out? Because I know she's the one who's got the magic button. I'll kick everybody out. So.
Nope, I'm good. You did a great job. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. Have a great night.
Bye.